guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Peace Jones. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video, okay? Grab a drink. It's Thirsty Thursday. Cheers. I have pineapple juice and vanilla rum. All right, guys, so let's get started, okay? This video is titled, How I Developed a Positive Mindset, okay? So let me take you guys for a little journey, okay? Through my life, right? Now, ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar. Psych, no. But ever since I can remember, I've always been a realist, right? So you have the pessimist, which is a negative person. You have the optimist, which is a positive person. Then you have someone in the middle, and that's a realist, right? And I've always said I'm a realist because I think reality, I think real life. I'm in touch with reality, you know? Try not to be too negative because that's not helpful, but try not to be over positive because I'm like, well, let's be realistic, right? So my whole life, that's always been where I was at on the spectrum, right? Or so I thought, right? And so I remember having this one friend in particular, and it's crazy because she just subscribed to my channel. I see you. But for real, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And I remember she would say often, like this was probably around like high school, college time. And she would say often, like, you're so negative. You're so negative. And it would be for like simple conversations we would be having. Like, I think it would be like things like she would be asking me about like a guy that I was dating, and I would just say something like super negative about the situation, and she'd be like, you're so negative. Or she'd like be talking about, I don't know, like something that just took place, like a natural disaster, and I might say something and she'll be like, you're so negative. Or she'd be talking about like something she did somewhere, and I'd say something and she'd be like, you're so negative. And you know, I used to always kind of take it with a grain of salt, like, no, I'm just a realist, I just thought this through, and the reality of it is blah blah blah. But then I had to like really come to terms with that, and I was like, you know what, I can be negative. And it wasn't even the negative that's just like, oh, I want to destroy you, oh, I wish harm on you. It was just like the immediate reaction to things that could have been something, it could have like played out way different than what I was imagining in my head, right? And I wish I could give you guys a really good example because it probably sounds like, what the hell is she talking about? But I don't know, maybe as I go on, it'll make more sense, right? So with that being said, I randomly came across this audiobook by Jen Sincero, and I'll leave it in the description, the link to the audiobook that I watched in particular on YouTube. And the name of the book is You're a Badass. Now, she also has other books like You're a Badass at Making Money and like a few other things, but the actual original one was You're a Badass by Jen Sincero. It's of course a hardcover book, and then also the audiobook. I actually got hip to it via audiobook on YouTube. So I sat, and it's pretty long. I forget how long, definitely over an hour. And I sat one day while I was at work, and I was just listening to this, listening. And literally, once I finished, my mind state was flipped. Like, I literally in that moment realized that everything that I was putting out was somehow manifesting back. And not necessarily into my life, because I put out good. I'm a good person. I don't intentionally harm people or anything. So I've always had a pretty positive life, right? But I realized that sometimes the words coming out of my mouth, the mindset I had, the doubt. Oh my gosh. Let me say that again. The doubt that I had over so many things was like really preventing me from seeing how much positive there could be in so many different scenarios and situations, right? And so once I listened to that book, I was like, wow, I'm really limiting my mind. Like, you guys don't understand how fragile but yet impeccable and amazing your brain and your mind is, right? So if you are constantly thinking a thought, thinking a thought, or saying these words, and I mean constantly, like as in years, like you just been acting and thinking and saying these things for years, right? It's gonna begin to manifest. It's gonna begin to show itself. It's gonna become concrete, right? That's why, like, one example I'll use is I hate when people say their kids are bad. Like, that's like a thing in the Black community. Like, as soon as your kid can talk, it's like, JJ bad. JJ bad. How's JJ doing? Good, but he bad. And it's just like, why are you putting that over your 2-year-old? You know what I mean? Like, and then you'll be mad when he's 17 and convicted for murder, but you didn't call him bad since he was walking. You know what I mean? And so I had to realize, like, the power of the tongue is so real. The power of the mind is so real. Your thoughts, your actions, and just everything that you say out of your mouth manifests, right? So once my mindset flipped, shout out to Jen Sincero. Y'all need to buy that book and download that audiobook. But yeah, once my mind flipped after listening to that day, whole new person, right? Literally changed the way I spoke about things. I don't care if I didn't even really believe it at that point, which now I know in order to speak it, you got to believe it, and that's how you manifest it. Belief is a very big portion of it. But at that moment, I was like, even if I didn't believe it, I'm going to say it, right? And it could sound crazy. I remember back to this friend that I was telling you about. She used to say like some of the wildest things, and I'd be like, what the hell? Like, how is that possible? Like, she'd be like, sorry, there was a gnat in here. She would be like, yeah, like, I'm just gonna be a billionaire tomorrow, and then like I'm gonna buy a Mercedes the next day, and then probably be a CEO like the next month. And I'd be like, what the hell? But because she was speaking those things and believing those things and putting those things out, it could really be possible. You know what I mean? You never really know. But me, on the other hand, I was like limiting myself so much just because I thought I was being so realistic. And in actuality, I was not manifesting things that I could have, being so stuck on being realistic and looking at what was real life and what was supposed to happen typically with typical people, right? So yeah, once I started speaking life into myself, speaking life over things, speaking things into existence, really believing these things, really acknowledging how powerful, manifestation is in your mindset and positivity, I started to really see how just little things would really come into place, or even bad situations weren't so bad anymore, or things that I never imagined could really happen or occur all of a sudden were. And so I really do credit her for always saying that to me. You're being so negative, because it wasn't until it clicked a while later that I was like, dang, you're right. Everything that's coming out of my mouth was just preventing greatness from happening. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't like some disgustingly negative person, like, oh, your hair is ugly, oh, you're gonna crash into a tree tomorrow. Like, no, it wasn't that type of negative. It's hard to explain what it was, but I see now what she was talking about. You know what I mean? And so that was pretty much my journey in becoming a positive person, developing a super positive mindset. And nowadays, I'm just all positive vibes only. You know how people like to say that, but this is real life, okay? And I really pride myself on being that way. It makes me feel better. It brings me a sense of security and peace, and I just feel protected in my own thoughts and my own mind. I also feel like it helps you to really decipher like different places you want to be in, different people you want to be acquainted with, because now I see, like she said, you don't want to be acquainted with someone who every time the littlest thing happens, they're bringing in, well, the reality of it is, or every time you say something, it's like they can't see past what it should be or what it might be. You know what I mean? And I'm big on that now. If I'm around you and you're always talking down and saying, man, I don't think that's gonna happen, or man, you're not gonna do that, or nah, it ain't no way you can do this. Gotta do away with them, gotta separate myself. If I'm speaking, and I really don't speak on my goals too much just because I'm like super protective of my peace and stuff, but if I'm speaking on something and I happen to tell someone and they have something negative to say, it's just like nowadays I keep a lot of things private just because people unintentionally say negative things, and it's just like they don't realize how those things can manifest. Even you joking around saying like, oh, you gonna crash, that can happen. Or you joking around saying, man, you better stop before he cheats on you, that can happen. Like, I'm so big now on just like eliminating any type of negative person, any type of person that has that tongue that just rolls and rolls and rolls off anything that comes to their mind, not even realizing that they're putting that negativity on you. I'm also big on vibes, right? All my friends know if I have any type of gathering, it's always the same select few people. I don't want certain people in my home. I don't want certain people around me. I don't want to party with certain people. Like, I'm really big with just like who is in my circle and who I allow close to me, because those vibes and that energy can really rub off, right? And now any inkling I get of it, I might give you a second chance, but I am really good at just like separating myself from negativity now and just trying to be as positive as I can, even in my own head, even to myself, right? And that means the reality of it is all of our days aren't good days. So if I wake up one day and the day's just going terrible, I need to get myself through that. I need to be as positive as possible and keep my mind where it needs to be to thrive, to keep going, and to just really, push through those negative moments, right? It comes into play with my friends if they need anything, with my family if they need anything. So, or my grandmother more so. But yeah, and it's really been working great ever since I read that book. I swear by that book. That's my favorite book. That's my lifeline. That's second to the Bible. All right. So yeah, you guys, I definitely suggest that you read it, and let me know what you think after you do. Comment below. Let me know if you're on your journey to positivity. Let me know if you are still kind of stuck in the negative, in the realistic area. And let me know how you guys stay positive, because of course life is not easy. Things get rough. How do you guys stay positive day in and day out? All right, leaving you with all positive vibes, and you're a badass. Peace out.